وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إنما الصدقات للفقراء والمساكين والعاملين عليها والمؤلفة قلوبهم وفي الرقاب والغارمين وفي سبيل الله وابن السبيل فريضة من الله والله عليم حكيم صدق الله العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Last night we had read that these hypocrites, they accused the Prophet ﷺ of not doing justice in disbursing the sadaqat. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling that the disbursement of sadaqat, who is going to get and who is not going to get, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not left that matter in the hands of the Prophet ﷺ. Rather, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed who is going to get it from the sadaqat. According to the consensus of Mufassirin and from several hadiths, it is proven that this ayah particularly is about zakah. So although the word used is sadaqat general, but this ayah particularly mentions 8 categories, those who are deserving and to whom zakat can be given. Sadaqah is called sadaqah because the giver is claiming that there is no difference, there is truth between my saying and my action, and therefore if somebody gives without purity of intention, without sincerity in their intention, their sadaqah is not accepted. If they give to show off, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not accept. So sadaqat are not for anyone except lil fuqara, the fuqara, the poor, wal masakin, and the needy. So this means, in general, in our language we say faqir is that person who goes around asking people. The Sharia of the Prophet ﷺ has said that it is haram for a person to ask if they have the means of passing their one day and they are strong to earn. If a person is strong enough that they can earn and they have the means for the day that you are sitting in, if they have the means to eat and support yourself during that day, it is prohibited for such a person to go begging. And the Prophet ﷺ has said that this is they are putting fire in their stomach. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. Masakin, simply put, those people who, apart from their basic needs, which means their house that they are living in, the things that are required to sustain life, for example furniture and all those that kind of stuff is mentioned, that also is included. The basic necessities of life. Apart from that, if they have nisab. What is nisab? The value of 7.5 tola of gold or 52.5 tola of silver, or the value of it. So if somebody has, the easiest way is that nobody has, or generally in our times it is basically the value of 52.5 tola of silver, and the value is calculated every year about whatever it is, and ulama every year they publish it that this is the nisab this year. So if somebody does not have that kind of wealth apart from their basic needs, basic necessities, then they are considered eligible for zakat. And if somebody has that kind of wealth, then they have to give zakat, they have to pay zakat. وَالْعَامِلِينَ عَلَيْهَا, there is one category after the 8 for which nisab is not necessary. Amilin are those people who on behalf of the Islamic government or Islamic Khalifa are working to collect zakah. They may be rich people, but their salary can be paid from the zakat. The limit is that whatever zakat is collected, not more than 50% of it can be used to pay those people. وَالْمُؤَلَّفَةِ قُلُوبُهُمْ, according to consensus of the ulama fuqaha arba'a, mu'allafati qulubuhum, it also includes only Muslims. So zakat cannot be given to a non-Muslim, no matter how poor they are, can only be given to a Muslim. Even this mu'allafati qulubuhum is to their hearts, to win people's hearts. So even this category does not include any non-Muslims, that if there is non-Muslims and if the Islamic government pays them some money to win their hearts over towards Islam, it is not permissible to give to non-Muslims. Only Muslims who are new or who are in need, they are included in this category. Even those Muslims who are new, but if they are giving, if they are given, if the Islamic government thinks, or the Khalifa or the ruler thinks, so not only being a new Muslim is enough, but there should be this understanding that it will further strengthen their iman if ihsan or favors are done to them. So zakat can be used for that. وفي riqab is a special kind of slave. In terms of riqab, generally is referred to, is used to refer to slaves, but here zakat can only be used for those kind of slaves whose price has been set by the master. These are called mukatab. The system does not exist anymore, but in that time there was some kind of slaves where their price for freedom had been set by their master, that you give us such and such thing or such and such wealth, then we will free you. So zakat money can be used to get the freedom of such kind of slaves. Wal gharimin, gharim is a person who's encumbered with debt. What kind of debt? Two things. Number one, the debt has to be of a halal nature. So for example, somebody has taken it for a halal cause. For example, somebody has taken a debt for fulfilling their family's needs. Or if somebody takes a debt to, for example, the example written in Tafasir, that somebody buys liquor on debt, then such a debt will not be fulfilled by the use of zakat. Similarly, how this example relates to our times is that people take a lot of debt for doing marriages of their daughters and sons or whatever, and all of that debt is because of unnecessary spending that is not required. So that kind of debt, if somebody has been burdened with that kind of debt and they are unable to pay back their debt, zakat will not be used to pay off such a debt. Gharim, yes. وَفِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ, and in the path of Allah, وَابْنِ السَّبِيلِ, and the wayfarer. So fi sabilillah is not a general thing that whatever action, whatever thing of deen is going, effort of deen is going, zakat can be used for it. Ulama and Mufassirin have explained it that based on hadith, there is a person who is poor and does not possess nisab and wishes to go for hajj, then zakat money can be used to finance their hajj. Or even more important, if a person who is strong but poor and does not have the equipment or the means to travel in the path of Allah to do jihad, then equipment of a mujahid, equipping a mujahid, zakat money can be used for that. Wabn sabil, a wayfarer who may be a poor person away from their country, hometown, or maybe a rich person in their hometown, but right now as they are traveling they have lost their wealth or something, so they could be given enough from zakat so that they can reach their place, or there they can finish their travel and reach their home place. Fariidatan min Allah, this is an obligation prescribed by Allah, and this is basically the obligation, the command. Ulama have written that had come in Surah Muzammil, which is a Makki surah. In Makki life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had prescribed that zakah is something that is far from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The modalities of it, the exact amount of it, who can be given, who cannot be given, that is explained in this ayah, which is Madani. Wallahu alimun hakim, and all of this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is prescribed by Allah, who is alim and hakim, all knowing, all wise. So all of these contain benefits worldly and of the hereafter for Muslims, even if you understand or not. The few things that should be mentioned is that zakat is not paid if you make somebody responsible to pay your zakat. For example, I have to pay zakat, I send it to some rich person in Pakistan to give it to some poor person. Unless and until they make that poor person the owner of my money, my zakat is not paid. I am still responsible for that zakat, so I have to check back with them that have they actually made a poor person owner of that zakat or not. Zakat can also not be given in a way that multiple people are made owner of collective pool of money. This way zakat is not paid. Zakat cannot be used to build a masjid. Zakat cannot be used to build a hospital. Zakat cannot be used in an educational institute. An individual has to be made an owner of the zakat money, and then it becomes their discretion that poor person, they used it to buy food or buy education or do whatever they want to do. But an individual has to be made an owner. Similarly, those organizations who want to collect our zakat and promise that they will make sure that the zakat reaches to the poor person, we have to find out, we have to research that what is their method of distributing zakat and who are they considering eligible. Is that really eligible, that person really eligible or not? For example, there is a religious institution that has students coming. Now, even if the students are poor, to run the functioning of that education institute, zakat cannot be used. The poor students can be made owner, yes, that's possible, that's proper way of giving zakat, but the running of that institution, zakat money cannot be used for that. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it from us. And before we give our zakat to anybody, we have to make sure that who they consider eligible, is that person really eligible or not, and then what is the method of deputing over and giving zakat to that person, and what is the time frame. Are they doing it before our zakat needs to be paid in time, or are they going to keep it and make it a part of their general zakat account and it's going to stay there for maybe 3 years, 4 years, and whenever they find somebody needy, then they will give it. Until they give it to that needy person, our zakat is not paid, and we are carrying the burden of sin. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.